Well, bring yourself back a few weeks ago, maybe a few months ago. Be someone in a hospital for alcohol-related treatment, and then be walking along a garden path, and suddenly you fall. Your leg gets bent, your foot is shattered, and instead of being rushed to the hospital, you wait around on the ground until your husband happens to drive by and picks you up, bringing you to the hospital. You pay the bills and you think to yourself, you know what? I shouldn't have fallen. It was the hospital's fault. They should be paying for all of this treatment. You call the hospital up and the hospital says, what? We didn't tell you to go fall down. It's your own fault, your own responsibility. Get out of town. Well, that is what happened to this one woman who was walking along. She was in this hospital for alcohol-related treatment. So unfortunately, they couldn't do any treatment of her bones on site. But instead of calling the emergency number here in Korea, 119, they called her husband to pick her up, denied any sort of responsibility, even though the maintenance workers that were working at the sewer manhole at the time poorly marked the area and also didn't put a strong enough grate to cover it while they left it unattended. And that's when she was able to fall down into not too deep of a hole, but still not so good for her bones. Obviously, there's a lot of backlash when they refused compensation and even blamed the victim for the unfortunate accident. So now the hospital is maybe thinking about giving compensation. At least they said they will. However, maybe too little, too late. Maybe the damage has been done. And the reputation of the hospital is not so great. Yeah.
Pretty shocking stuff. I mean, you'd think these days that it's just better to admit when you've made a mistake and try and fix it rather than do silly things. Oh, it's not our fault, even though it was on our property and we should have followed health and safety procedures and we didn't. Why did they try to cover this up? I don't understand.
And not even a cover up, just like, oh yeah, it happened, but it's your fault. It's just, yeah, I don't know. I can imagine being embarrassed to take blame, but we have countless like examples of why lying about something or deflecting something or blaming the victim has never worked in the past. And it will continue not to work.
Yeah.
In fact, people would be like, oh, you've been at fault? Okay, done. And they'll be actually more happy with you if you want to save your reputation.
I think the bit that confuses me, though, is why they didn't call 119.
Because that's...
I mean, I understand they don't have the facilities to deal with it in their particular type of hospital, but surely calling 119 anywhere, I don't get it.
Well, I have two theories.
Okay.
Number one is calling the 119 or 911 or whatever, 991, blah, 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 whatever it is around the world, whatever it is for you guys. Calling the emergency number could connect them to the accident legally. Secondly, this is an alcohol treatment facility, and I assume their respect for their patients is quite low, especially after seeing this story.
Oh, that's dark. But you might be right, yeah.
I have a feeling. This is all alleged. It's just my opinion. But after reading this article, I have a feeling about that. Have you ever noticed a hazardous, like, sort of situation happening, such as the uncovered manhole vent? And did you do anything about it?
I can't say I've ever seen anything that looks dangerous like this, but if I did see an uncovered manhole, I would definitely, and there was no like signage or anything around it, I definitely would call someone's attention.
Yeah, absolutely. Something. And usually, like, especially in Korea, there's the what we call the kwali ajashis, the security people, usually older men. And you can just call them, hey, this is a situation, and they help with almost everything, even fixing houses. They're like the handyman, the security guard, doorman, everything. Yeah.
Can't be that hard to just alert someone to potential danger.
Yeah. And also probably isn't that hard to recover the manhole if you're going to leave it unattended. They are heavy, but I assume it's not a huge amount of work to recover it or cover it up again.
Yeah. Because again, it's pretty obvious that there will be health and safety procedures that these workmen should have followed for what to do if you have to leave mid-job when working on a sewer. They obviously didn't follow the procedures, so again, they should be at fault. Maybe not. If originally, if the hospital had just admitted to the problem, looked into what should have happened, what didn't happen, it probably would have been the workmen that were at fault rather than the hospital.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It very well could have been. I have seen those videos, though, where even though they follow even more than the safety procedures, the phone has someone's attention.
And they're not even looking for signs, and they're just...
Yeah.
Well, then it really is your own fault. If there were proper signs and warnings...
Exactly. It's self-responsibility at that point.
Yes.
Not in this case, the metal grating was very thin, so she fell through. But you do see those grates along the road, especially for the water drainage areas. Do you walk on those?
I am quite cautious, but yeah, I'm not afraid to walk over them.
Yeah, I have walked over them, but the fear I have is dropping my phone, or in America, my keys, my car keys. So when I walked over, I was always like...
I'm like that getting on and off the subway, because I'm always holding the phone,
and you're always like,
but I grip it extra tight and clutch it to my body as I'm getting, because I'm always thinking...
I've seen the Subway commercials.
Drops
the phone in.
Not my phone.
And he gets it the next day. I can't get my phone the next day. I need it today.
Phone addiction.
Yeah. Although I did, kind of think about, like, what if I did fall down?
Yeah. But I'm quite observant. I look where I'm going.
Good. And as well should you. Please look where you're going, and also please look at the vocabulary and study it a bit. And I guess we will continue on that route. And we'll see you in the next article. Bye.
Sewer.
Sewer.
Unenviable.
Unenviable.
Grating.
Grating.
Orthopedic.
Orthopedic.
Reimburse.
Reimburse.